They warned us about Willie Edwards long before the cameras showed up. They said he was the kind of man who pushed too far, chasing gators that other hunters would let go. In the Louisiana swamps, mistakes aren't just costly, they're deadly. And yet, Willie kept going, season after season, even as tragedy struck his family and close calls piled up. Some call him fearless. Others say he's reckless. But the truth is harder to pin down. Because if the swamp teaches one lesson, it's that no matter how skilled you are, it's always waiting to collect. Swamp People wasn't just another reality show. When it premiered in 2010, it pulled millions of viewers into a world few outsiders had ever seen: the wild, untamed swamps of Louisiana. Here, hunting isn't for sport. It's survival, and the stakes are higher than anywhere else. Alligator season lasts only 30 days, but those days decide whether a family makes enough money to last a year. Each tag is both an opportunity and a risk. Hunters set bait, track massive reptiles, and drag them into their boats knowing that one mistake could mean disaster. It's a tradition passed down for 300 years, father to son, mother to daughter, a way of life where instincts are sharpened by storms, murky waters, and the ever-present eyes of predators lurking below. The Edwards family became one of the central faces of this tradition. Fans were drawn not only to the gator hunts, but to the raw family dynamics: Junior's hard edges, Teresa's quiet strength, and Willie's determination to carve out his own place in the swamp. For viewers, it was thrilling entertainment. For the Edwards family, it was survival. But survival doesn't come without warnings. Willie Edwards was raised in the swamp the way other kids are raised in neighborhoods or schools. The water, the mud, and the gators became his classroom. From a young age, his father, Junior, taught him to set lines, read the water, and spot signs that most people would overlook. Willie didn't just learn the craft, he absorbed it, building a reputation as one of the most fearless hunters on Swamp People. But Willie wasn't like the others. Where some hunters played it safe, he took risks. He chased gators that thrashed harder, pulled them into boats alone, and worked without hesitation even when danger was inches away. This made him stand out on screen. Fans admired his quiet confidence and his ability to handle situations that would make most people freeze. Still, people whispered warnings. Season after season, close calls followed him. He shrugged them off, moved forward, and kept showing up for the hunt. Yet the swamp doesn't forget. Every hunter who works those waters knows that the price of a mistake might not be paid today, but sooner or later, it always comes due. And for Willie, the danger hit closer than anyone expected. Junior Edwards was more than Willie's father. He was his teacher, his partner, and at times his sharpest critic. Their bond was built on years of working side by side, chasing gators in the kind of conditions most people would never dare face. Junior had decades of experience, and his expectations were brutal. On the water, his voice was loud, demanding, and at times merciless. Viewers saw the tension firsthand. If Willie pulled a gator too close, Junior barked at him. If his hook was off by inches, Junior made sure he knew it. But underneath the harsh words was something else: respect. Willie never snapped back, never spoke badly about his father, even after one accident nearly changed his life forever. Junior once misfired his rifle and the bullet grazed Willie. Another time, a shot bounced off a gator's skull and struck Willie in the arm and face. Any of those could have ended his life, but instead of blaming his father, Willie kept hunting alongside him. For fans, it was a glimpse into the brutal honesty of swamp life. Mistakes happen, danger is constant, and even family bonds are tested when survival is on the line. If you spend enough time in the swamp, close calls are guaranteed. But Willie seemed to pile up faster than most. One of his most infamous moments came when he dragged what he thought was a dead gator into the boat, only for it to come back to life, thrashing and snapping with terrifying force. Willie was nearly crushed under its weight, his hand caught in its jaws, bones threatening to snap. Only quick thinking and Junior's frantic help kept him alive. Another time, Willie's own reflexes saved him when a dead gator landed on his foot, breaking a toe and nearly dragging him overboard. Add to that the rifle accidents, infections from gator bites, and even storms that nearly capsized their boat, and it became clear that Willie's story wasn't one of smooth survival. It was survival on the edge. Fans noticed. They began to wonder if Willie was pushing himself too far, too often. But Willie didn't slow down. He treated each close call like just another day in the swamp, moving forward as though nothing had happened. But the swamp has a way of reminding even the toughest hunters that danger doesn't always come from the water. For the Edwards family, heartbreak didn't just stay in the swamp. It followed them home. In September 2018, tragedy struck when Willie's younger brother, Randy Edwards, lost his life in a car crash at just 35 years old. The news devastated fans and fellow hunters alike. Randy left behind a wife and 3 children, and his sudden passing reminded everyone how fragile life is, even away from the swamp. Years later, the Edwards family faced another crushing blow. Junior Edwards, Willie's father, passed away. For Willie, this wasn't just the loss of a parent. It was the loss of the man who had shaped his entire life, career, and identity as a hunter. Tributes poured in from fellow swampers and fans, all recognizing Junior as one of the greatest gator hunters the swamps had ever seen. These losses left deep scars. The warnings that had followed Willie seemed sharper than ever. Fans wondered if the swamp itself was claiming debts, one family member at a time. Willie carried on, appearing in new seasons, but the shadows of loss hung over every hunt. And still, he returned to the water, facing dangers as though nothing had changed. When viewers think of swamp people, they picture massive gators thrashing in the boats. But the swamp holds dangers far beyond teeth and tails. Hidden stumps can flip a boat in seconds. Sudden storms sweep across the lakes, sinking boats and leaving hunters stranded. Even the tools designed for safety, like bang sticks, can become lethal if mishandled. Then there's infection. A single gator bite carries dozens of strains of bacteria. A small cut can turn into something life-threatening within days. Hunters like Willie know this, yet they patch themselves up and keep going, because out there, missing a day of hunting could mean losing income they can't replace. The swamp also demands constant alertness. Navigation lights must stay on, life jackets have to be worn, and one slip into dark waters can be the last mistake a hunter ever makes. For Willie, who often hunts alone, the risks are multiplied. There's no partner to pull him back into the boat, no extra set of eyes to spot danger. That's why the warnings about Willie always felt different. He wasn't reckless in words. He was reckless in action. And in the swamp, that's what gets remembered. Every hunter has a story about the one that got away. For Willie Edwards, it was the Black Lagoon monster, a gator so massive it bent his hook clean through and disappeared into the dark waters. Most men would have let it go, chalked it up as a loss, and moved on. But Willie wasn't most men. A year later, he returned to the same stretch of water, determined to finish what he'd started. The air was thick, the swamp silent, when the gator surfaced again. Willie set his bait, and the fight began. The beast thrashed with unimaginable force, nearly ripping the line free. Willie braced himself, his pistol in hand, firing again and again until the animal finally went still. Dragging the gator into his boat was almost as dangerous as the fight itself. At over 13 feet long and hundreds of pounds, it was a battle of strength, sweat, and stubbornness. Inch by inch, Willie pulled it aboard, the same gator that had escaped him the year before. For Willie, it wasn't just a victory, it was proof. Proof that no matter the odds, he would always return, always face the danger, always chase what others feared. Even after all the close calls, the tragedies, and the warnings, Willie Edwards never stepped back from the swamp. If anything, the danger seemed to drive him further. Where others saw risk, Willie saw opportunity. Where others hesitated, he moved forward. It's this relentless drive that keeps him one of the most fascinating figures on Swamp People. Fans watch, knowing that at any moment, the swamp could take everything from him. And yet he continues, season after season, chasing gators as though the dangers don't exist. Some call this bravery, the willingness to face danger head-on, no matter the cost. Others see it as recklessness, a man ignoring every warning until it's too late. But perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Willie represents what the swamp demands, total commitment, even when the price is high. The warnings may have started years ago, but they haven't stopped him yet. And maybe that's why people keep watching. Not just to see the gators, but to see if Willie Edwards will continue to defy the odds, or if the swamp will finally win. The story of Willie Edwards isn't just about gators or hunting tags. It's about survival, legacy, and the thin line between courage and recklessness. From his father's harsh lessons to his own near-death experiences, from the loss of his brother to the passing of Junior Edwards, Willie has carried the weight of both tradition and tragedy. And still, he returns to the water. Season after season, fans watch him risk everything for a way of life that outsiders can barely understand. The swamp has tested him with bullets, bites, storms, and heartbreak. Yet Willie remains. But here's the haunting truth. The swamp is patient. It doesn't need to win today or tomorrow. It waits, watching, until one mistake tips the balance. And when it does, even the strongest hunters can fall. So, is Willie Edwards a symbol of bravery, honoring his family's legacy no matter the risk? Or is he the embodiment of a warning, proof that no matter how skilled you are, the swamp always collects its debts? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more.